Are you a fan of cupboards? Do you love opening drawers? Provided there's nothing useful in them, of course. If so, look no further, because today we'll be reviewing Layers of Fear, a new game all about closet opening and drawer drawing, providing hours upon hours of fun for the true connoisseur. Layers of Fear is a new early access horror game, described by its developers as psychedelic. In it, you play as an insane painter, navigating a mind-bending mansion to finish his masterpiece. Despite it still being early access, and there being only about 2.5 hours of gameplay, the game is remarkably polished already. The excellent visuals immediately stand out, for example. When the walls start to warp, and objects suddenly go flying, the result is a unique experience, both trippy and frightening. Despite this very interesting premise, we found the gameplay mechanics to be somewhat monotonous and lacking as is. That is to say, it's not a gamey game. It's a game of walking and timidly opening doors. And it certainly reminded me of Dear Esther, a quite well-received game with barely any gameplay mechanics. Yes, there is the occasional puzzle to solve, but these are currently far too simple to be fun in our opinion. Cupboards, closets and so forth are legion on the other hand, but barely ever contain anything useful. Amnesia: The Dark Descent dealt with this quite well by tying it into the light mechanics of the game, so lantern fuel or tinderboxes could often be found when poking around. Furthermore, the control scheme is currently a bit wonky. Our dear painter is currently unable to lean, peek and crouch. We think any proper horror game ought to allow for nervous peeking about while cowering under a desk. I reckon that accounts for about half my playtime in Outlast. Layers of Fear does respawns quite well on the other hand. Failing a scare segment causes you to respawn past the segment. This certainly prevents repetitiveness and cheapness of the scares, but might cause you to miss out on small bits of the game. Regardless of these mechanics, and well, very importantly, Layers of Fear is actually excellent at scaring you. Due to the mansion constantly changing, you never know what to expect. This keeps you on your toes. Turning and running back is not an option, since entrances are in the habit of vanishing in Layers of Fear. The scares are often of the jump scare variety and quite unexpected. So, story-wise, there really isn't much to be said at present. The game's early access status is most visible in its lack of story and gameplay hours. And to be honest, we're rather happy with this current lack of story, and hope this continues up to the full release, so that the experience might actually still be relatively fresh. Nonetheless, snippets of the story are to be found in-game already. These shed some light onto the Mad Painter's life, and are done in an engaging and intriguing manner. More generally, it's quite fun to play a madman really. We're very curious as to how this will pan out in-game. After all, are the goings-on in the mansion delusions, supernatural, or perhaps a bit of both? On the technical side of things, the developers definitely deserve praise. The game is remarkably polished for an early access game. Both the visuals and the sound design are well executed. And for a horror game about a painter, one expects the art used in-game to be one of the visual centerpieces. Well, the developers deliver on this point, with both beautiful and disturbing art. The visual execution of the environment changes is done in a seamless manner as well. Surprisingly, the game has functioning mirrors, but our painter seems to be some kind of reverse vampire, as subsequently looking down yields a distinct lack of legs. Lastly, there's very few bugs for an early access game, thankfully. Framerate drops are noticeable in certain locations. The one quite bad immersion-breaking bug we found was when, presumably, the meshes on dolls found around the mansion would flip out and distend all over the place. All in all, Layers of Fear is an excellent early access game. The gameplay mechanics are still a bit lacking, but the game looks beautiful and does not fail to scare. Hiya, my name is Borandor Mercas, one half of BorPin Games. That's it for our first video, so let us know what you think in the comments, and give us a like if you enjoyed the vid, and we hope to see you again for the next one.